Hello everyone, my name is Jing. I and my classmate Jennifer and Bruce will give a presentation on the topic of supplements and homeopathic drugs and their regulation. Our presentation will include the following three parts. First, how products are regulated. What is the role of the FDA? Second, are those products considered by the FDA as GMP drug entities within the meaning of Section 210 of the Act? Third, are they recognized and subject to the requirement of the United States Pharmacopoeia? I will start from the first question, how those products are regulated and what's the role of the FDA. Jennifer and Bruce will talk about the other two parts. So what are dietary supplements? A dietary supplement is intended to provide nutrition that may otherwise not be consumed in sufficient quantities. Today's dietary supplements include vitamins, minerals, fiber, fatty acids, amino acid, enzymes, and many other products. Dietary supplements come in a variety of forms: traditional tablets, capsules, powders, as well as drinks and energy bars. Many people are familiar with dietary supplements as the majority of adults in the United States take one or more dietary supplements, either every day or occasionally. But many people may never hear the word homeopathy, just like me. My very first time saw this word was from our GMP class. So what is homeopathy? The term homeopathy is derived from the Greek word with homeo means similar and patheo means suffering or disease. The first basic principles of homeopathy was formulated by Samuel in 1796. Homeopathy is a system of medicine based on the observation that high dose of pharmacologically active substance cause symptoms when administered to healthy individuals. Those same substances, when prepared in very dilute form, may relieve similar symptoms in the conditions resulting from different etiologies. Homeopathic drug is any drug labeled as being homeopathic, which is listed in the Homeopathic Pharmacopoeia of the United States, an addendum to it or its supplements. They are derived from botanical, mineral, or biological substance and are classified as either over-the-counter or prescription medicines. However, drug products that contain homeopathic ingredients in combination with non-homeopathic active ingredients do not belong to homeopathic drug products. The potency of homeopathic drugs are specified in terms of dilution. For example, 1 time means 1 to 10 dilution, and 2 times means 1 to 100 dilution. Homeopathic drug products must contain diluents commonly used in homeopathic pharmaceuticals. How these products are regulated. FDA regulates both finished dietary supplement products and dietary ingredients under a different set of regulations than those covering conventional food and drug products. Dietary supplements are regulated under the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act of 1994, which was enacted as an amendment to the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. Under DSHEA, supplements are effectively regulated by the FDA for good manufacturing practice under 21 CFR Part 111. Manufacturers and distributors of dietary supplements and dietary ingredients are prohibited from marketing products that are adulterated or misbranded. That means that those firms are responsible for evaluating the safety and labeling of their products before marketing, to ensure that they meet all the requirements of DSHEA and FDA regulations. Any claims for the products must be reported to FDA prior to marketing. And FDA is responsible for taking action against any adulterated or misbranded dietary supplement product after it reaches the market. If a supplement manufacturer wants to introduce a new ingredient, it must provide FDA with 75 days notice, along with safety information. If FDA has any concerns about the ingredient or submitted safety profile, the agency can request more information or deny the product's entry into the marketplace. However, FDA never had pre-market approval over dietary supplements, because under the law, dietary supplements marketed in the United States before passage of DSHEA are grandfathered and assumed to have a history of safe use, and no new chemical entities have been approved since the passage of the DSHEA. Unlike dietary supplements, homeopathic drugs are subjected to the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act and regulations issued by FDA. Specific regulatory guidelines for the marketing is given in a U.S. FDA compliance policy guide. All homeopathic medicines must comply with FDA labeling requirement, which is 21 CFR Section 201, and be manufactured in accordance with current good manufacturing practice, which are 21 CFR Section 210 and 211. Manufacturers of those products must also register with FDA and may be subject to FDA's inspections. As with all medicines, homeopathic manufacturers must report any serious adverse reactions to FDA. Homeopathic medicines available over the counter are excluded from the OTC drug review. Prescription homeopathic medicines are exempt from new drug approval requirements. Instead of the new drug approval process, pre-market approval for individual homeopathic ingredients for sale in the United States have been reviewed for homeopathic efficacy, toxicology, adverse effect, and clinical use by the Homeopathic Pharmacopoeia Convention of the United States, and are approved by way of monograph approval. The criteria for inclusion in the HPUS requires that a homeopathic drug product to be determined by HPCUS to be safe and effective, and to be prepared accordingly to the specifications of the HPUS General Pharmacy section. What are the main differences in the regulation of homeopathic drug and dietary supplements? As I mentioned in the previous slides, dietary supplements are regulated by the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act. Homeopathic medicines are regulated as drugs according to the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. OTC homeopathic medicines, which are used for a self-limiting and self-diagnosable condition, must have a therapeutic indication on the product label, whereas dietary supplement can't make claims for the diagnosis, relief, cure, or mitigation of symptoms of a given condition or illness. This table outlines some of the key aspects of drug regulation associated with dietary supplements, homeopathic drugs, and allopathic drugs. In conclusion, homeopathic drugs in the United States are subject to well-defined regulatory processes that more closely resemble those that apply to allopathic medicine than to dietary supplements. Manufacturing, labeling, marketing, and sales of homeopathic drugs are subject to FDA compliance rules. With the exception of provision for expiration dating, tablet imprinting, and finished product testing, those rules are functionally identical to the rules for their allopathic counterparts. GMP stands for homeopathic, and allopathic drugs are the same. Advertising oversight and reimbursement for the homeopathic and allopathic drugs are also identical. Next, Jennifer will talk the CGMP requirement for dietary supplements and homeopathic drugs. Thank you.
Now I will discuss current good manufacturing practices for both dietary supplements and for homeopathic drugs. What are current good manufacturing practices, or CGMPs? These are the main regulatory standard for ensuring the quality of pharmaceuticals. In this case, quality refers to aspects of these products such as safety and efficacy. CGMPs create systems for proper design, monitoring, and control of manufacturing processes and facilities. Some examples of CGMP requirements are quality, facilities in good condition, properly maintained equipment, and qualified and trained employees. Products that do not conform to these regulations are considered adulterated by the FDA. The Code of Federal Regulations, or the CFR, lays out all of the FDA's regulatory control of different products. Drugs and homeopathic drug regulations can be found in sections 210 and 211. Dietary supplement regulations can be found in section 111. In the Food, Drugs, and Cosmetics Act, drugs are defined as articles recognized by the U.S. Pharmacopoeia, the official homeopathic pharmacopoeia of the U.S., along with others. Therefore, homeopathic drugs do fall under the drug category and thus must comply with the same regulations as other drug products. Even though dietary supplements are grouped with foods in the CFR, the good manufacturing practices for dietary supplements and for drugs are not that different. However, there are less restrictions on the manufacturing practices for dietary supplements relative to drugs, and therefore, these practices are considered more flexible than the practices for drug products. Some examples of flexibility in the manufacturing practices for dietary supplements that are not there for drugs include that raw materials and finished product specifications can be left to the manufacturer to define. The manufacturer is free to choose any scientific testing methods to characterize its product or raw materials, and there are no requirements for stability studies with dietary supplements. On this slide is a table showing comparisons of the CGMP requirements for drugs versus dietary supplements. You can see that most of them are the same, with few exceptions, where these standards are still recommended for dietary supplements. In summary, CGMPs for homeopathic drugs are the same as those for regular drugs on the market. The CGMPs for drugs are well established, while the CGMPs for dietary supplements are more recent and are still being assessed for their efficacy. Next, Bryce will discuss the U.S. Pharmacopoeia and what it means when products are included in this classification. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Just like dietary supplements and homeopathic drugs share some similarities and differences to CGMP regulations by the FDA, they also share some similarities and differences with traditional pharmaceutical drugs and the standards organization that helps inform their safety and efficacy. That organization I'm talking about is the U.S. Pharmacopoeia. The U.S. Pharmacopoeia is an organization that helps provide standards for verification of identity, strength, quality, and purity of medicines. The USP is not part of the federal government and has no responsibilities for enforcement, but provides these standards by which the laws are enforced. They're recognized by the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act as the official compendium. And this compendium provides standards for compliance of an established drug name, which non-compliance is deemed adulterated, misbranded, or both. USP monographs are published on a regular basis, and new monographs are subject to a 90-day public comment period before publication. So the question is, how does the dietary supplements or homeopathic drugs interact with the USP? So dietary supplements, as part of the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act of 1994, names the USP as the official compendia for dietary supplements. The DSC, or Dietary Supplements Compendium, is published every 3 years. There is currently over 300 reference standards for authenticating material and calibrating analytical tests. Like pharmaceuticals, dietary supplements, new monographs, or revisions have a 90-day public comment period before publication. USP dietary supplement standards have some similarities with pharmaceutical drug standards. For example, non-conformation to the USP dietary supplement standards is considered misbranding. But unlike pharmaceuticals, USP standards only apply if the supplement represents itself as conforming to the USP, as you can see indicated by this seal of USP verification that would appear on the bottle of a supplement which is representing itself to conform to the USP. This is different than pharmaceuticals, which require that all pharmaceuticals are conform to the standards of the USP. Dietary supplements, some of them are found in the Food Chemicals Codex, which is part of the USP, and they are still subject to the same regulations as those for food ingredients. Additional USP functions for dietary supplements are providing the guidance for developing, manufacturing, and testing new dietary supplements, qualifying raw materials for dietary supplements, helping prepare for CGMP control audits, setting and validating standard operating procedures, and guidelines for conducting in-process and batch release tests, and also packaging, labeling, and storing material guidance. In addition to this, the USP has a website listed here above, www.quality-supplements.org, where they keep and maintain a list of their verified supplement products. You can see, if you click on the link, you can see a listing of all of their qualified supplements and their verified supplements, and by clicking on the link they can show you a place that can help you locate and purchase these supplements. Unlike dietary supplements, homeopathic drugs do not fall under the purview of USP guidelines. Instead, they are recognized by the Homeopathic Pharmacopoeia of the United States, the HPUS, which is its own separate organization which mirrors a lot of the USP, but has some differences that are specific to homeopathic drugs. Currently, there are over 1,300 drugs in the HPUS. 440 of these are prescription required in some potencies, while 20 are prescription required in all potencies. So, for inclusion in the HPUS, a homeopathic drug must have data that represents its safety and efficacy. It must be prepared in accordance with specifications listed in the HPUS. And the documentation must be provided in an approved format. As mentioned before, some drugs and homeopathic drugs were considered grandfathered in, and grandfathered in homeopathic drugs must show published documentation prior to 1962 which demonstrate efficacy. A new homeopathic drug requires at least 2 adequately controlled double-blind clinical trials demonstrating efficacy. And similar to the USP, new monographs are subject to a 90-day comment period, and updates to the HPUS are published twice a year. In addition, the HPUS maintains the Compendium of Homeotherapeutics. This addendum to the HPUS contains information on the basic premises and concepts of homeopathy. This includes things like the laws of similar, the traditional homeopathic proving methods, which are called pathogenic trials. It also includes information and specifications on the standards of preparation of homeopathic drugs. Also, it includes information on the content and dosage of homeopathic drugs. Although they're not pharmaceutical drugs, hopefully today we've demonstrated that the FDA takes an active role in improving safety of homeopathic drugs and dietary supplements. These steps include regulations for labeling, manufacturing, and standardization, and these are all tailored to the specific needs of either the dietary supplement community or the homeopathic drug community. With that, we thank you and would be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thanks.